Nighttime. I get out of the bath. It's about time to go to bed. Amane didn't seem herself today. Even at dinner time, she didn't eat much. Ever since Tobioka mentioned the accident. What happened? Everybody was worried about it, but it didn't seem like we could ask her about it. I walk along the hallway while thinking of that, and then Amane came down from the second floor.
小鳥はいるかな?
She's in her room, I think.
そうか。ありがとう。
Amane knocks on Kotori's door.
あまねちゃん?
Kotori pokes her head out from her room and is surprised to see Amane there. This is probably the first time she's gone to see her in a room like this.
少しいいかな? いいけど、入る?
Kotori invited her in, then Amane went inside the room. Kotori went to close the door, then noticed I was there. She looked at me like, what should I do? Come over here, but there's no way I could go in there. Eventually, she closed the door.
ぐわぐわ。何か言おうかな、あまねちゃん。懐かしいな。ここは昔、イスカの部屋だったんだ。なあ、ハット。くわー。あの頃、何度か遊びに来たことがあった。ハット用の出入り口を作るのも手伝ったぞ。そうだったんだ。どうりで雑なわけね。あまり変わってないな。私、物が少ないから、ごちゃごちゃしてると動くのに邪魔になるし。部屋を見に来たの？そうだった。借りていたこれを返そうと思って。これ、イスカの高校日誌じゃない。返すってどういうこと？それは小鳥のものだろ？違うわ。私は見つけただけで、これは私のものでもないぞ。でもあまねちゃんが持っているべきよ。だって親友だったんでしょ？イスカは私に見せたくてそれをここに残したわけじゃない。もしそうなら直接渡すかガレージに置いてたはずだ。そうだけどこの部屋にあったんだろ？そこの棚と棚の隙間に挟まっていたの。隠してたみたいだった。君が持っておくべきだと思う。イスカもそう思ってるはずだ。あまねちゃんがそれでいいなら私も君に持っていてほしい。ここに来たおかげでまたハットにも会えた。わっか。楽しい夏休みだったな。あまねちゃんまだ終わってないわ。でもモーニンググローリーは来るから。絶対怒るから小鳥が言うと本当にそうなりそうだな。なるもん。それじゃあもう寝るよ。おやすみ小鳥。ハット。おやすみ。わあ。というわけなのよ。
The corner of the garage, in a blind spot which couldn't be seen from the drawing board, in the shadow of the glider, we were whispering to each other.
じゃあ、あまね先輩から返してきたんだ。その高校日誌。
Kotori had told us the details about what had happened in her room last night. Seems pretty meaningful.
でしょ？だからもう私、どうしたらいいかわからなくって。身辺整理ってことなんじゃないかな。もう引退も間近なわけだし。やだ、そんな悲しいこと言わないでよ。私だって言いたかないわよ。でもしょうがないじゃない。
Usually, even if you quit a club, you still carry on coming to school. However, in Amane's case, she's already gained enough credits, so as long as she doesn't fail any of her exams, she'll be able to graduate. As she said before, once she leaves, she'll go back home to help her father with his work. She probably won't come to school anymore. When we think about it, we all start to feel really down. Because of Amane giving Iska's flight log back to Kotori last night, we became strongly aware of the situation.
これ、ほとんど日記だね。イスカはグライダー制作の知識はほとんどなくて、実質、あまねちゃんが作ってたみたいなの。
According to the diary, it seems that Iska was the pilot. Amane made it and Iska flew it. It looks like those were their roles. I remember when we first joined the club, Amane had said that there was no pilot. That must have been what she was talking about. In the log were all the details of the production process. Rather than being a flight log, it was more like a production log, so I wondered why Iska called it a flight log. But it seems that Iska wasn't a particularly diligent writer. There were numerous days where nothing was written. There were a lot of things that wouldn't mean anything if someone else were to read it. For example, it was pointless talking to her about that thing. She doesn't know anything about what it's like to be young. That thing? What is that thing? And so on. The only ones who would understand was the person who wrote it, and her, most likely Amane.
やっぱりこれって天音先輩にとって大切なものなんじゃ。だから返そうとしたのよ。でも私に持っていてほしいって。なんでだろう。私が見つけたからかな。
She might think of it as something you've inherited.
受け継いだ？何を？
Iska's dreams. You came to the Soaring Club because you found it, didn't you?
うん。
So, don't you think that maybe Iska brought you here?
そっか。天音先輩からすれば、イスカさんの思いが小鳥を動かしたようにも見えるわけね。
Iska's dreams of longing for the sky are revealed here in the flight log. If those dreams are what moved Kotori, it could be said that she had inherited them.
そうなのかな。
Try to remember, in the beginning when we were talking about getting new members, Amane wasn't very positive about it. But her attitude completely changed when you brought her that photo in the flight log, didn't it?
そういや、そうだったね。あの時は事情がわからずにいたけど、天音先輩にとってはすごく運命的な出来事だったんだろうね。
Kotori, who feels a heavy sense of responsibility, makes a serious face as she goes into deep thought.
ところでさ、気になることがあるんだけど。
Agea flicked through the flight log.
あった、ここ。
At some point, I won't be able to stay here, was written there. It looks like it doesn't have much of a connection to the context of what's written before and after. It just appears suddenly and seems kind of out of place.
なんだろうね、これ。
Also, the same kind of thing appears several times.
これ、学校を辞めちゃうってことかな。
Upon reading more, it doesn't really say why they had to leave.
何か事情があったのよ。ここから去らなきゃならない理由が。じゃあ、イスカさんがいなくなったのは事故とは関係ないってこと？それはわからない。けど、天音ちゃんがモーニンググローリーを飛びたがってるのはイスカのためなんだよね。
Kotori opens a page in the log. This is what was written there. I still can't forget the emotion I felt when I saw that photo. That such a beautiful view could be from above the town where we live, and the sky that is always there, stretching out far and wide. Even so, she didn't seem so surprised and looked like she wasn't moved at all. That's why I thought, I'm going to take you there, for sure. When she sees the real thing, even Amane would be brought to tears. She'll definitely be moved by it, no doubt about it. This is the page where the photo was placed inside the book. You might be right. There is no way that Amane, who is scared of heights, would want to fly above the clouds. Despite that, she caused problems for her father and continued to stay at school, becoming the super repeat student. She must have wanted to see the view that Iska wanted to show her.
天音ちゃん、なんだ
Kotori jumping up out of her wheelchair as it hit the flight log behind her back.
さっきから何をこそこそ話してるんだ？なんでもないの、天音ちゃん。そうそう、こっちの話ですから。
Amane looks at me. Like she says, just talking amongst ourselves. As I answer, Amane pouts.
そうか。私だけ抜け者か。
Ah, crap. She's really upset. Since she was concentrating on the drawing board, I thought she would notice what we were doing.
違うの。天音ちゃんの、
Farewell party?
送別会？今年で引退しちゃうでしょ。だから。
Kotori's voice fades away. Although she used it as an excuse in the heat of the moment, we don't really want to talk about Amane leaving. In the place of Kotori, who had fallen silent, I continue the story. We were planning it in secret because we thought we might surprise you. We are going to prepare all your favorite things.
そうなんです。そうか。それは悪いことをした。
Now we really have to do a farewell party.
送別会か。楽しみだな。
It seemed that she believed us, and then she returned to her position in front of the drawing board.
でも、これでしなきゃいけなくなったわね。
That's fine. Let's have a farewell party.
やだけど、やりたい。
I'm not in agreement with Kotori. It's not that I want to say goodbye to Amane. However, if that's the way it is, I want to give her a proper send-off. Is this the only thing you need?
シャーペンの芯がなくなりそうだから、それも買っておこう。
I follow Amane into the stationery store. Today, I've gone shopping with Amane. I'm what you might call a bag carrier. Even so, going out with Amane, just the two of us, could be called one of the perks of the job.
よし、もう忘れ物はないぞ。
Nope. Shall we head back?
今日はありがとう。おかげでいっぱい買えた。
No, it's no problem at all. Amane bought paper and equipment for drawing, and also some other tools. For what purpose, I don't know. The amount and the weight would be too much for Amane to carry by herself.
けど、どうして急に買い出しに付き合ってくれたんだ？
Well, I thought it might be tough to do it by yourself. Today, I have been entrusted with a secret mission. While the others prepare for the farewell party, I have to buy them some time. A few days ago, it was quickly decided that we would hold a farewell party, but in order to surprise Amane even just a little, we planned to keep, at the very least, the day and time of the party a secret. Right now, Kotori and the others should be proceeding with the preparations at the dormitory. They should be alright with that. They had called for some help, so they told me not to worry. Huh? Amane, where are you going?
荷物を持って帰るんだ。飛び魚荘に。
Huh? Why? Aren't you going to put them in the garage?
ああ、これは寮で作業できるように買ったものだからな。
Really? That must be why she's buying large amounts of the same things that she has on her desk in the garage.
どうしたんだ？帰らないのか？
This is bad. If she goes back to the dormitory like this, they'll be caught in the middle of the preparations. Why don't we go for a little stroll?
別に構わないが。
What's this all of a sudden? Her face seemed to say, but she agreed to it. Okay, let's go, as far as possible. As far as possible. Following that idea, I chose the course for the stroll. If we take a detour past the lake along the promenade, then I noticed that we were walking up a gentle slope. As though she was impressed by the sight of windmills lined up along the gently sloping hill, Amane let out a sigh. Is this the first time you've seen them?
下から見るのはな。湖越しにか、空の上からしか見たことなかった。
Not many people would have seen this place from the air. I was one of those few people. I feel quite proud of that.
ここは自然エネルギーの研究施設だったな。私が慶風学園に来た頃には、まだ建設中だった。
It was when I had moved away from here. I see. At that time, Amane was already a student of Keifu Academy. You were in the robotics club during your first year. After that, you joined the soaring club, didn't you?
ああ、そうだ。入ったというより、部を作ったという言い方が正しいな。
Together with Iska, is that right? For a moment, Amane looks at me in a mysterious way, then nods. She must find it strange to hear us using Iska's name.
私はイスカに誘われたんだ。イスカがあの写真やガレージを見つけてきて、 ソアリング部を作ろうと言い出した。
I wish I could have seen it.
何をだ？
You at that time. Amane at the same age as Kotori and Ageha. Amane looks at her own body again.
今とそう変わらないと思うぞ。
Her boobs must have been just as big back then, too. Kotori would be jealous if she heard that. Why would she be jealous? Her looks aside, I can't imagine Amane Mochizuki as an innocent young girl. Well, if you ask me, she still seems pretty innocent. Her height might not have changed much since the time she joined the robot club. What did you do in the club back then?
それも今とそんなに変わらない。グライダーを作って飛ばそうとしてた。あの頃の私はグライダーにあまり興味がなく、ただイスカが写真の場所へ行ってみたいと言うから、それを手伝っている感覚だった。
Is it different now?
航空工学は私の専門分野ではないが、研究してみると面白い発見がたくさんあった。それにみんなと、小鳥やアゲハや葵くんと一緒に何かをするのは楽しい。主翼が完成した時のことを覚えているかい？
Yes, of course.
あの時嬉しかったんだ。みんなの力が、いや、気持ち、うまく言えないが、それが形になったような気がして。だから飛ぶのは怖かったけど、テストフライトが楽しみだった。
Amane. Without realizing, I feel taken aback. I usually never know what she's thinking, but now I knew that she felt the same way I did back then.
きっと何でもいいんだと思う。みんなが夢中になれるものなら。
That just happened to be the glider. The rest of us could probably say the same thing.
ずっと知りたかったんだ。イスカが夢中になってた理由を。
Says Amane as she looks into the distant view on the other side of the lake.
あの雲の回廊を飛べば、それがわかるかもしれない。
So that's why it's your goal. In that place, even if she's all alone. Maybe even now, Amane isn't really that into making gliders. The thing that she's chasing after is not the sky, but Iska. Where is Iska now? The question that I had been on the verge of asking before, but refrained from, just slipped out. Amane looks at the windmills turning slowly in the wind.
さあ、わからない。どこかへ行ってしまった。
Amane was smiling, not like she was sad or lonely, but like she had given up. I regretted asking such an unnecessary question. Not knowing what to say next, I look up at the windmills with her. Every time I see them, it's such a tranquil scene. It feels as if living life, rushing around, living according to time, is so silly.
それにしても暑いな。ソーラーパネルが大活躍だな。
Yeah. Other than the windmills, there are also solar panels to generate electricity. In the direct sun of the middle of summer, they must be working like crazy right now.
そろそろ帰ろうか。
Huh? Well, what shall we do? Maybe we should stay for a little longer. I checked the time on my cell phone and it's still a bit too early.
でも暑いぞ。ほら、汗がこんなに。
She says as she pulls her sweaty clothes away from her chest. That's what Agea said once. That is the area that gets the most sweaty. No, okay, let's go to the convenience store. I'll buy you an ice cream.
アイスか。いいな。
Looking like she was about to start drooling, Amane immediately started walking. I go after her, carrying the bags.
私はストロベリーのやつがいいな。甘酸っぱくて美味しいんだ。
Go ahead, have whichever one you'd like. In order to buy them some time, it looks like I'll need to get her to eat about 2 or 3 ice creams. We're going to be eating later, but that shouldn't be a problem for Amane.